There's been a route over Shap since the early Middle Ages. Certainly there are records from about the 12th century. The Bodleian or Gough map of the 14th century shows the road from Lancaster through Kendal to Shap and Penrith. The road from Kirby Lonsdale through the Lune Gorge joins this road at Shap, whilst the road from Appleby joins at Penrith. These are the only routes shown on the whole of this map of Cumbria.
It is a very old route. I mean, Bonnie Prince Charlie came through just 250 years ago, and the parish registers quite often record people, children born to a traveller on the fell or a traveller found dead on the fell, and they've been buried here and that sort of thing. So it's, you know, I mean, it goes back quite a long way, these mentions of people on the fell.
Shap, the township itself, probably owes its existence to being a convenient sheltering or resting place between Kendal and Penrith, which in the old days of driving cattle or whatever, or by virtue of the type of dirt roads there were, would be possibly an acceptable distance to travel. And consequently there were various hostelries sprung up, and then of course when the coach system started, we had at least 3 coaching inns with the facilities for horse changing and that sort of thing.
There are accounts of coaches getting stuck in the snow. I mean, there's one actual report that I have a copy of stagecoach, a mail coach in actual fact, getting stuck on the top of the fell in a bad snow, and they'd made the passengers get out and walk, and the coachman had actually taken the mail bags, taken the horses and galloped off to Kendal and left them abandoned on the fell, and they set off to walk back to Shap where they thought there was a pub. And they said if any ladies had been in the company they probably wouldn't have survived the journey. But when they got back to Shap they got holed up at somewhere like the Greyhound, and someone said to them after, well, what did you do? They were there about 10 or 12 days and there was no news in, news out or anything. I said, what did you do? Was there any books or anything? Well, no, not even a newspaper, no books or anything. Well, what did you do? Oh, well, the cockfighting morning, noon and night apparently. So they'd had plenty to occupy themselves. But so being stuck on the fell is quite an old story, you know, really.
Probably the greatest innovation insofar as the route was concerned was when the Turnpike was made. And this section here is from Burton to Emmet Bridge. Quite a number of the dated milestones still survive, 1825. You know, the road had got to be better to keep the strict schedule of the coaches. Probably one of the biggest changes that came would be the coming of the railway, the opening of the Lancaster and Carlisle Railway in 1846. Because overnight it would seem, from various parish records, etc., that a lot of people who were employed in the horse-oriented industries, in other words, carters and blacksmiths and hostlers and one thing or another, were really had their livelihood threatened. But fortunately, again, according to parish registers, I use an example whereby the children of a family, father's occupation initially sort of pre-46 been given as a carter or something like that. When another child arrived and was baptised after about 1850 or thereabouts, his occupation was given as a porter or a signalman or something of that ilk. The railway actually took quite a lot of business from the road at that time by virtue of the fact that it could be moved more smoothly and in bigger bulk all at one time. Motor transport came in about, say, the early part of this century, because I don't suppose many got round these parts in the 1890s.
The Turnpike road